Hello, I'm Alisa Agnes, and that's my podcast Romantic Wednesdays with Poetry. Today's episode will be very special because it will be about definitely my biggest poetry work, which is called The Dream, the Memory. And well, at first, maybe let me tell you why I translated this title like that. Because in Polish it sounds a little bit differently. It's like um, the memories dream, something like that. But I thought that it doesn't sound great in English, and that's why I decided to make the title look like it's the same thing. I mean, the dream, the memory, because it's kind of what it is. So, um, to let you see what I mean by saying this, then maybe I will simply read you this poetry work right now. And it will be quite magical, so uh, relax a bit, sit down, and make you feel comfortable. Okay, so here it is. The dream, the memory. Walking down the Francuska street. But why am I here? What attracted me here? I look around shops, cafes, florists, nothing special. But like a magnet, maybe the key is in the history, maybe some important event. How life looked like here 100 years ago, what people were thinking about walking down the street. And suddenly I see it all. Crowd of people, grey ordinary clothes. Even I look differently. Dirty buildings are gone, a lot of space, less people. White houses covered with straw. Pretty warm spring day, flowers all around, forest, bird twitter, hoofbeats. And suddenly I noticed a group of people. They scream, "To Warsaw we go!" What's going on? The young lady passes me by. Wait, she looks like me. Who is she? I'm curious if they can make it. Will we ever get what we desire? Rain, wind, buzz of words. What will happen in 100 years? Headache, sudden darkness. I open my eyes. My room? Everything looks so normal. So, it was just a dream? Next to my bed I see the key and paper. This way past and future meet, my granddaughter. A little tear released on my cheek. Now I know who was whispering. History is the key. Okay, so that's this poem that I talked about in the beginning of this episode. So, okay, I don't know where to start. Well, maybe at first I will tell you about the process of writing this poem. So, I remember it was probably second class of high school, and I already won one competition in the first grade, and my teacher, my Polish teacher, told me about the competition, and it was about writing a poetry work which would be about a historical event that was about one of countrysides. There used to be a kind of suburban um, land. And it's something that happened around 100 years ago, when this village called Saska Kępa became a part of Warsaw. So it was a very important thing, because the city was just getting bigger and bigger, and I guess it's also important for citizens when they suddenly live in the capital city. So so that's why I wrote this poetry work. And do you know how I got the idea for this story? That's kind of funny, because I remember I was in a tram, such a train that travels in Warsaw, um, and just in many cities in Poland. And it's like a train. And I remember I was in my way to high school, and I was just sitting there and thinking about this competition, and suddenly I got an idea for this story. And I remember I started probably the next day, but I'm not sure. So I mean, I started just after getting this idea. I started writing this poetry work, and the work was really smooth, and I was really proud of this poetry work, and it turned out to be one of my longest, poems. And when I gave this poem for the competition, I remember it was mm, March, probably the next year, when I got the call that that I won in my category, and I was asked to come for the ceremony, and that's when I got the statuette for this poem, because it wasn't a normal competition, um, because it was a festival, and it was very special, because after that I also had to give a poetical lesson for my classmates. So I guess it really mattered for my school that I got this statuette. So yep, this way, this poem is still my biggest achievement. And well, I will tell you more about this story in a second. Now it's time to tell you a few words about the poem and about the story that it represents. So I imagined my character walking down the street, and suddenly some magic happens, and she um, turns back in time, and she sees the situation that led to adding Saska Kępa to Warsaw. So it's about a little village becoming a part of the city, and one of the biggest cities in Poland. And if I remember it well, Poland didn't exist then yet, because it was, I guess it was the beginning of the 20th century, but I'm not totally sure about this. I don't remember now. So I wrote this poem about such a magical situation, when my character sees this situation, when people quite demand to be the part of Warsaw, and she notices a young girl who looks just like her, and she can even hear her thoughts. And it's, very shocking to her. And suddenly she wakes up in her bed, and she thinks it's a dream, but then something magical happens again, and she notices a little piece of paper and a key. And this key is a metaphor, of course. And this way she realizes that it's her grandmother. And this way she also realizes that sometimes where we are and what we do, you know, it's all a part of our blood, of the history we don't know about. And it's like some dots are connecting and, they just lead to the place where you are. And this is what history means in this poem. And that's why I say that history is a key. Because to understand the present times, we must look back and ask ourselves what happened 100 years ago. And this way we can find out why we are where we are. So this is the message of the dream, the memory. Okay, and it's been a while, and you probably already saw my official store. And there is such a hoodie, black and white versions, and it's and it's it's referring to this poem. So if you'd like to buy yours, then feel free to check out my official store, alisaagnes.com, double L, one S. Okay, so I think it's all that I needed to say about this poem. So yeah, I think that's it. And well, in the next episode, I will tell you about the last poem, which was also rewarded in the past, and it happened in the same year as this one poem about which I was talking about here. And it's again this kind of situation when I gave for the competition more than one poem. But this poem and another one were hanging on the wall of my school even when I graduated. And personally, Angel means more to me than the one about the faith. And I guess that some people also got inspired by this poem because I guess it's one of my most popular ones. So in the next episode, you will learn more about the angel. And it was my first poem. I mean, I wrote more where I used this theme. I mean, of the angelic girl, you know. Okay, so until the next time. Yep. Bye. Okay, now it's time to tell you a few things that I forgot to mention. Well, in the Polish, there's such a line that is kind of given a sound because in translation it's about birds singing and I mean Twitter and about horses, and in the Polish translation, I mean the original poem, you can literally hear it in the sound. You don't have to understand it, but just listen. Świergot ptaków, stukot kopyt. Isn't it amazing? Okay, and now the second thing that I forgot to mention, and so I love history, and this poem is simply just given this vibe, historical vibe, and and you will definitely get more historical content because it's my passion. I didn't study history, but in high school I was attending for such advanced history lessons, and I always loved history, and I will always love it. So such poems like this will probably always, you know, come out. And when it comes to the historical event called adding Saska Kępa to Warsaw, it happened when Poland wasn't on the maps yet, because it was 1916. Yep, so 2 years before. So I just, I wanted to let you know. Just check this out. So now you know.